Hey everybody, welcome back to Direct-Source Discourse. My name is Daniel Esquibel, and joining me today is Kelly Good of ALCOVA Mortgage. Kelly, thanks so much. It is amazing to have you here. Always appreciate when I get to visit with you. To get started, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hey Daniel, I'm Kelly Good. I am the Director of Strategic Initiatives at ALCOVA Mortgage. We are based in Roanoke, Virginia, and I live just a little bit south near Virginia Tech. I have been with ALCOVA for 20 years. How did I get started in the mortgage industry? I graduated from Virginia Tech with a public relations degree. So I had kind of started looking for other opportunities and was just working at the makeup counter at the mall. And I had a friend who was an account executive for Novastar, and she suggested that I give the mortgage industry a shot. And I said, I don't do math. I don't like numbers. And she said, it's all right. It's just sales. You'll figure it out. And so I applied for a loan officer job and got hired and have been here ever since.
What is something right now, just in your current job experience that you're especially proud of?
So I started my mortgage career as an originator, and I've always, really enjoyed being that solution-minded, out-of-the-box thinker. So when I was originating, I really was drawn to those customers who didn't really have those cookie cutter, easy to finance type criteria. So one of the things that I'm most proud of throughout my entire career is just my ability to, figure out ways to make things happen, dig into the guidelines, and make someone's dream of homeownership come true. When maybe other companies weren't willing to, make that sacrifice and really dive in to help someone out.
Echo that 100%. Definitely one of the most rewarding parts of this industry, which is a fantastic kind of segue. Right now, just in the current landscape, what would you currently change about mortgage lending if you had a magic wand, for example, or if you were the real estate czar? What would you change?
I carry a magic wand with me everywhere I go. It comes in handy, and I really like wielding the power. But if I could go to the magical tools accessory store, I think probably what I would do is trade in that magic wand for a crystal ball. I think one of the struggles that this industry has is, the process of originating a mortgage requires so many different partnerships, and there's so many, different professionals who are invested in the transaction. And every time changes come in our industry, you have to get all those partners to play a role. And I think there's a lot of fear that comes into play, with each aspect of it. So I would actually pull out that crystal ball and I would show the appraisers that, the Appraisal Modernization Act and things like that aren't coming to put them out of business. And I would help settlement agents see that, e-closings and so forth are designed to help them be able to do more business and not less business, and just really help everyone to understand that the changes that are coming to our industry are to help us all, to help improve the borrower experience and so forth, and not something to be fearful of.
Awesome. I like that. I like that. Okay, so you traded some magical instruments. Very good. That's great. Moving on to, something perhaps a little bit more serious right now. In this market, how does your team stay lean, and more efficient in these what we would consider slower mortgage cycles?
But one of the things that we are really focusing on, and it's probably a lesson that we learned, from 2020, is how can we be more productive with the same amount of people? So, one of the things that we've really been focusing on is what are those technologies? What are the ways that we can, slim down the number of people that it takes to produce a loan? What are the ways, that we can increase efficiencies and improve turn times, and just make the whole process more streamlined, so that the next time there's an ebb and flow in the volume that we have, we're better prepared to handle it with the staff that we already have in place. Our investments in technology this year are really focusing on how to streamline the mortgage process. How can we make the experience better for the borrowers? How can we give that guarantee up front that you've done your part, you've provided everything, you're approved, and we're just waiting for those final items to come in so that it's a better customer experience, and just ways to improve underwriting efficiency, less documentation for them to have to review, be able to review files more quickly. We're really embracing a lot of the AI and that type of underwriting, those types of technologies, to be able to help all of our partners in the transaction be able to close the loan and make the experience better for everyone.
Here's a change management type question for you. What advice would you give a lender who's struggling to get on board with their new processes, or new tools, adopting new tools that a company is investing in? Like, in other words, what have you found is a successful pattern for company-wide adoption, or is that even possible right now in the mortgage industry?
Sometimes I do feel that way. But, anytime that you have a new initiative to roll out, you have to be mindful of, people embrace new things in different ways. We have a fabulous training department here. We do weekly trainings for all of our staff, on various departments and new initiatives. So, we kind of start out with casting that big net, and introducing it, give people, who are quick to adopt things, a chance to kind of jump in and fill it out. And then, I don't know how you scale this, but honestly, one of the things that has really worked well for us, especially this year, is having one-on-one conversations, spending time in offices. We rely on our VPs of sales to go out and visit offices, and we love those light bulb moments. When you have that loan that just isn't working, and someone reaches out for help, and you say, hey, let's try this new technology. We introduced it a few weeks ago. You may not have had a chance to check it out and experiment with it yourself, but let's see if this helps. And it fixes that loan. They're hooked for life. So, you have to kind of start out, I guess, with like a funnel approach. You can capture who you can capture. But then sometimes it just really takes spending one-on-one time with people and kind of holding their hand a little bit more through the process.
Okay, so now back to a couple more fun questions. Who right now is an industry personality that you think everybody should be following on LinkedIn?
We recently had our spring sales conference. And of course, we had Ali Carty attend, and she had some great insight, on the next generation of borrowers and so forth, and how to reach them. Phil Treadwell, Greg Shears making a big splash right now, and so those are some of the people that I enjoy, keeping up with and learning from.
Let's go back in time here. And let's say you're back at the makeup counter, And instead of your friend telling you or asking you and kind of indicating that you should get into the mortgage industry, what is the profession that you would have liked to have them introduce you to instead?
The makeup counter was a good gig. I highly recommend it
Yeah.
to any female in her 20s. It was definitely the upper echelon of mall jobs. But and I guess the reason that I was drawn to it is going even further back to my high school days. Um, my dream was to have a salon.
Mm.
That
Yeah.
Steel Magnolias, Dolly Parton, all the ladies
Yeah.
come in, we hang out, we spill tea, we gossip about all of the neighborhood, and we just glam ourselves.
Seriously, if you anytime that you can get a Steel Magnolias reference, you've done a fantastic job.
Yep.
Kelly, thank you so much. I appreciate your time today. I loved spending some time to get to know you a little bit more in a kind of a fun context. But that's it for this episode of Direct Source Discourse. And thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next time.